Good afternoon. Friday, October the 2nd. And I'm happy to be here with you, and Jonah is here too, at least for a while, until he gets tired and he gets down. Um, this last week, different things have been emerging in my mind and my prayer and what have you, and I was I was shopping online just a couple of days ago, and I was looking at Christmas cards. Yeah, I know. It sounds really bad looking at Christmas cards, and it's only in October. But I have a friend who is fond of Snoopy, and I was looking for a gift. Anyway, I came across a Christmas card, and it's a Snoopy Christmas card. And on the front, it's got rather a scrawny or puny-looking Christmas tree with no presents underneath it, and just one red bauble hanging on the tree. And next to the tree is Snoopy dressed as Santa, and he's wearing a COVID mask. And it says on the front of the card, it's not what's under the tree that matters. And then when you open the card, it says it's who's around it. And it made me smile, it made me laugh in some ways, because Snoopy is quite funny. But at the same time, there was a certain kind of sense of poignancy or possible sadness, because in some ways it kind of reflects, I think, what we've been living these past months. There are many things that we may have been missing in our life, and some people have had, I think, obviously material things missing in their lives through lack of work or whatever, but the things we've been missing most of all is like gathering together, and this Christmas card, which I haven't bought yet, but I may buy it, I think it reminds us, that it's about coming together and being with our loved ones that means so much to us, especially at Christmas time. And this past week now, I met with, for the first time, the liturgy committee of the parish, and what's interesting is that, all the different things you would normally have here in the parish, the different kind of activities attached to a different feast, like All Souls and what have you, a lot of that has to be sort of removed because of COVID. And all we're left with is just an ordinary celebration of Mass. Anyway, as we're recognizing all of this, is that we can't do that much right now. The question came up was, well, do we know what we're going to do for Christmas yet? Can we celebrate Christmas this year? And the truth is, we haven't actually received any instructions from the Archdiocese properly yet about how we can celebrate Christmas this year in our parishes. So we're just waiting on that. But I think in light of, that and the Snoopy card and the situation we're in right now, the thing that comes to me that I think we need to hold on to is that we will have Mass, there will be Jesus. And I think that's the important thing, that we have certain restrictions or limitations which have been placed, imposed in our life for the good of everybody, and because of the COVID virus. But in spite of all that, there are certain things we can't do. But what we can do is we can always have Mass, and we can always have Jesus. And I think that's important as we live through this current difficult time, or this current nightmare for some. I know that some of you have not been able to come back to Mass yet. You don't feel ready, and that's fine, and we completely understand. But I think it's important for you to know that there are many things we cannot do, obviously, and there may not be presents under the tree, but we can be together with Jesus in prayer. And I think as we think about, the life that we have right now, we have to sort of find a way of making Jesus to be the center of it all, to be the constant of it all. Because if we don't, I think we tend to lose focus, and we may fall into a certain despondency or even despair, and our spiritual life will start to suffer, and we start to lose hope, and we don't want to lose hope. However we celebrate Christmas this year, and it will be different, whatever we do. Jesus will be present, and I think that's the important thing to remember. There are probably many family traditions that you may not be able to do. You know, maybe you're distributing cookies or cooking for this one, or people won't travel as much or find it as easy to travel or to be together or to gather together. But I think so long as we have what is the essence of the celebration, Jesus himself, then I think we'll be okay. And I think that there's hope. It's when we let go of that, then I think that we start to panic a bit. And we don't want panic at any time, you know. So the Snoopy Christmas card kind of hit me a bit, really. And then thinking about each one of you out there, trying to sort of make sense of where we are, and the importance, really, I think, of maintaining, therefore, a good, solid prayer life as best we can at this time. And that may require, I think, that we maybe learn to pray in different ways, you know. You might not be able to come to church right now, or you might just be able to see Mass through the stream version over your computer or on your phone. But there's still a way through your regular prayer life that you can adapt and adjust to keep Jesus as the focus. There's not lots of good news to go around, you know. I came off watching the presidential debate, you know, the other night, feeling slightly desperate and depressed. And then the following morning, it was the feast of St. Jerome, and I said, thank God it's a feast day, that we can celebrate something here. And thank God that we have these holy men and women before us to inspire us, you know, when there isn't much else to inspire. And so for me right now, a lot of my prayer life is being kind of like boosted or spiced up by paying more attention to the saints. And we have a lot of their feasts who are coming around recently, and they exist to inspire us and give us hope. And so people like St. Jerome, and then yesterday we had the wonderful feast of St. Therese of Lisieux. These people, certainly they inspire me. And I'm using them to beef up my prayer life, to do something slightly different, to keep Jesus as the focus. So yesterday, which was my day off, and it was kind of an autumnal, kind of cool day anyway, I just decided to have a reading day. So me and Jonah, we spent most of the day, sat down. I had we were covered in a very lovely blanket which Sandy and Pam had given to us, and we were eating treats that Kathy and Marie had given us. And I decided that as it was the feast of St. Therese, that I would read her autobiography, The Story of the Soul. I'd read it before some years ago, but I thought, you know, there's lots of stuff in that. So I read a big chunk yesterday of The Story of the Soul, and I felt a whole lot better for it, you know, and it really helped me to sort of focus on Jesus through the witness of her in her life. So you maybe want to think about doing something like that, however you pray. And of course there's many ways of praying, but maybe look to sort of pray in a slightly different way. There are opportunities, I think, during this time of COVID for us to sort of like grow spiritually. We are in some ways being separated from each other, but we can come together through Christ in prayer. Of course, we are a sacramental church, so we're used to having gatherings with Jesus, to being with Jesus. And we know that when we come together as the church, Jesus is present. So it's hard on us. But during these times of separation, there is a way to connect, you know, and to remind ourselves that he is the one who is constant throughout it all. And it just came to me this morning, you know, thinking about, well, different ways you could vary your prayer life. I mean, I don't know how you pray. I mean, but even, for example, you know, taking what they call the Jesus prayer, you know, just Jesus' name and repeating his name over and over throughout the day, in your head, in your heart, whispering it to yourself, whispering it slowly, whispering it longly and loudly, quietly. All of that helps you to remind you, to orientate you into the mindset whereby you see that Jesus really is everything. And I was thinking, how like people have those what do they call them? Those counters which they carry around with them, or people check to see how many steps they do in a day. And people say to you, well, I've got to do 10,000 steps today. Well, maybe you could set yourself a goal of doing 10,000 Jesuses a day, Why not? Why not? For every step you take, sort of make it a Jesus step, so that it makes it slightly more fun. But it kind of like incorporates it into your daily life and to your daily routine. Everything, I think we need to use every resource right now to be as focused and in tune with Jesus as best we can, so that we don't lose it, right? We don't want to lose it, and that's why, I'm connecting with you in this way, and we will be continue to connect with you in the coming Fridays that we're here. But Christmas seems like a long way off, but it's looming, and we're thinking, well, it's not going to be the same this year, is it? Well, nothing is going to be the same, I'm afraid. And I read an article just the other day about even if a vaccine is found, right now or imminently in the next couple of months, our life will not return to normal by next spring. It could be much longer before things return to normal. And that's if a vaccine is discovered, pretty soon. So our life has changed and will continue to change, and we have to adapt, but we have to keep ourselves anchored to the Lord, and that's one of the things that I wanted to say to you today. The other meeting I had this last week was with the little committee that organizes your Family Fest, which I've yet to experience at Holy Spirit Church, and it's the main fundraiser which we couldn't have this year, so we're suffering financially as a result. But I met with the committee just this past week to find out, what are we going to do next year? And the thing is, nobody knows what's going to happen next year, or whether we'll be able to have the Family Fest next year. But when I asked the guys, so when will you start planning for next year? And they said, oh, we already are. And they've already booked the music, and they've already booked this and booked that, because they're optimistically being hopeful that for next year we should be able to have the Family Fest. So that kind of encouraged me, and it's right to be optimistic and to be hopeful, and certainly to plan, knowing that maybe things may have to be slightly different or adjusted, but we should still look forward with hope and with great joy. Okay, so they're the two main meetings I've had this week, and my Snoopy Christmas card I wanted to tell you about, and also to tell you that in about maybe an hour's time or so, we're celebrating confirmation here in the parish, and it's the last of our confirmation celebrations. So, and we've had 6 celebrations of confirmation, and over 120 of our young people have received the Holy Spirit, and I think that's a wonderful thing, that in spite of everything, we've been able to do that, So I'm looking forward now in the next hour or so to confirming more of our young people, and that should be good. And then tomorrow, talking of saints, we're having our pet blessing, so please come to that if you can. And if you can't, then it'll be streamed live as well. So bear that in mind. The other bit of a sort of commercial I wanted to mention was that in terms of like fundraising and keeping things going and having a bit of fun, there is talk of us having a 50-50 raffle between now and November, or the end of November, or Thanksgiving. So please keep your eye on the bulletin and on the website for the 50-50 raffle. It's a way of us helping our parish to cover costs, and also for somebody to win a big chunk of money. All right? So Jonah is now asleep, which means he's tired of listening to me. I'm tired of listening to me. I need to go and get ready for confirmation. We'll be speaking to you again soon. Hopefully I'll see some of you, if not all of you, at Mass this weekend. If not, do watch us on streaming and tune in tomorrow for our special pet blessing. Take care. Cheers. Cheers. Bye-bye.